Good day, everybody. All right, the We'll Fix It team. Thank you for tuning in. All right, so today I've been working on this vehicle. I've been running and running and running. What we have here is an '05 Dodge Durango. Did I get that right? Yeah, '05 Dodge Durango. Check engine light comes on, and then the vehicle doesn't want to take throttle, low RPMs, and just some drivability issues. And drove it, and I drove this thing, and finally it did what it did. I cleared the codes originally to start off with a clean slate because I didn't want to be trying to read an old code. So with a clean slate and a clean code, cleared codes, I drove it and drove it, and run it and drove it back and forth. Oh my gosh. Anyways, got it to finally do it, set the check engine light, and there was two codes that came up. I had a permanent code of, and I'll see here, let me flip the camera over right quick. Okay, all right, that works. Here's the permanent code that it set. Camshaft position sensor, circuit intermittent bank 1 or single sensor. Okay, all right. Well, I go back and I look for a pending code. Because a lot of times when it does that, it doesn't. By the way, the camshaft sensor on a lot of these vehicles, the early Hemis didn't have variable valve timing. They didn't have AFM, automatic fuel management. They were pretty much mechanical set. But they used the camshaft sensor to correlate number 1 with the crankshaft at the camshaft to make sure that there's no issues with valve train. Okay, so I hit pending codes, and I get a cylinder 2 misfire. I never did feel a misfire. However, it just didn't really do the gas very well. It just didn't run as well as it should. And possibly because of the fact that it's an intermittent camshaft sensor, it's correlating the injector sequence. The camshaft sensor on Chryslers and a lot of other vehicles that are fuel injected, a lot of the times are helping to work variable valve timing in later engines, but in the earlier way, it was just used to pretty much, you needed a sequential place to start with the fuel injectors to know which cylinder is going to fire next so that you could correlate all that. And when you lose that correlation, you typically lose engine performance and engine management, and you'll have a misfire and or drivability issues. So intermittent, all right, that's telling me that I've either got a broken wire or I've got a bad sensor. Well, I've looked at the wiring pretty well. We'll take a quick look under the hood. I haven't got it all back together yet, but this is the path we're going to go. Chryslers are funny vehicles. They do some weird stuff. The ECMs in these are not too bad, but they do give trouble. I have seen problematic ECMs in some of these, but this is where we're going to go with it. Down in here, if you're standing in front of the vehicle, it's on the left-hand side. If you're inside the vehicle, they call that the right-hand side. That's how they do that. I say passenger side. So passenger side, underneath the alternator is the camshaft position sensor, and it's used to work both banks. You have one camshaft sensor, one crankshaft sensor. And getting it out sometimes can be somewhat of a difficulty because it's down in that recessed hole. I put vice grips on it, and I gave it a nice little turn. And then after I kept fooling with it, I could take with this in here like this, sort of kind of like that. Just imagine that, because I needed both hands, so I couldn't do it all. I couldn't film and do this. But I used these are called simple machines, which I kind of latched this into the back of this right here, and then I pushed against the alternator. It took several tries, but once I got a good grip on it, I was able to get that out of there. So that's how I changed that camshaft sensor. In case anybody has any trouble with that later. It is hard to do sometimes. So now we've got that all put together. What we're going to do now is get the rest of it back together, get this out of the way, and I'm going to run it some more and see if it does it again. Hopefully we don't have an intermittent ECM issue. That's the plan. If I do, I'll do another video and we'll go from there. But I just wanted to upload a little bit about how this system operates with the crankshaft sensor. And I'll do a video on what the auto shutdown relay is when I get a little more time, what its job is and how it knows what to do and why it's even there. Chryslers have that. So thank you very much for tuning in. If you have any questions, please put it in the comment sections. And always do like, subscribe, and share this stuff because you help the We'll Fix It team, and that saves America. Thank you guys. Lots of love.